Good day, good day, good day. Welcome to day 2 of the AI Learning Lab Back to Basics AI Crash Course. Great to see you all. We had a great night last night. I was really thrilled with the participation last night, what we did last night. Tonight is going to be all about Chatgpt. I don't know if you've heard of it, but apparently it's going to be a big thing. Chatgpt used to be really simple and used to be kind of janky and bad. It's getting better and better and better all the time. Apparently, as early as this Thursday, 2 days from now, there may be a new version of Chatgpt, Chatgpt 5. So we're going to dig in. If you have questions, pop them in the comments. Producer Brandon is back there fielding questions. The way this will work is we will start out with, we'll do an hour of Chatgpt. I'll do a couple of announcements in there. I'm going to get through as much as I can. If you're new to AI, if you're new to Chatgpt, even if you're experienced with Chatgpt, I can promise you, you're going to see stuff tonight that you didn't know was possible in Chatgpt. Some of which, I know that because they launched 2 hours ago. So even I haven't had a chance to play with them. So that's what's going to happen. So tonight is Chatgpt 101. And then, we'll do 102, 103, 104, things like that. One thing that I want to start to point you to have you pay attention to, is if you're not in a community, an AI community, I strongly suggest you get in one for a couple of reasons. Things are changing so fast and the change is accelerating that if you're feeling behind, if you're feeling overwhelmed, even if you're paying attention to AI and you're feeling behind and overwhelmed, welcome to the club. That feeling's not going to go away for a long time. Probably my guess is 5 years. That the changes that are coming are going to be quite profound and quite disruptive. And one of the best things that you can do is get yourself in a community full of people that are curious about AI. The AI Salon is a group that a community that I co-founded with Leah Faston, a photographer out of Boston, the week after Chatgpt came out. We talk about this cycle of AI readiness: play first, mindfully create, and generously lead. And generously lead looks like share with others and teach others what you're learning and things like that. It's an incredibly generous group. So if you're not part of an AI community, even if you are, please go check out the AI Salon. It's quite remarkable. We've also got a thing called the Mastermind for people that want to step up their game and form some tighter knit communities and start some things together and learn together. That's what the AI Salon Mastermind's about. So go check that out. Okay, so let's get into this. Chatgpt 101. Here's my request. Play along tonight. Go to Chatgpt. Even if you don't have a paid subscription, there might be a thing or two that I do that you don't have access to. Don't cry about it. Even the free version of Chatgpt, just the base model, not using any of the fancy stuff we're going to talk about tonight. I am confident that you could spend the next 5 years exploring and not hit the bottom of. Confident of that. That little mouth, ask anything. That's from a book I'm working on called Feed Your Prompt. The prompt is always hungry. And so that's where we're going to start tonight. We're going to start with what do you type into that box, right? What do you type into that thing? So here we are. This is base Chatgpt, okay? There's lots that I'm going to go over here interface wise, but the primary interface of Chatgpt is what we lovingly call on the AI Learning Lab the prompt hole, or the prompt box, or the input box, or the input area. I don't know, the prompt hole. And the prompt is always hungry. And so a question is, the chat hole, that's right, yeah. The question is, what do you feed into it? And here's my biggest unlock for you. if you learn nothing else tonight, one of the biggest mistakes that people make with large language models, with these AI tools, is they treat them like they're the genius. And this has been sort of conditioned into us by Google. You put a prompt into Google and it gives you an answer. And so you see that prompt box and you think, oh, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put something in here. Write me a LinkedIn article on entrepreneurs, right? And then you expect genius. Sure, here's a strong first draft of your LinkedIn article. The Entrepreneur's Paradox. Build a plane, fly the plane, become the plane. And you start reading it, and it's got emojis, and it's weird, and it's got like bullet points and things like that, and it's kind of generic. And your experience with ChatGPT might be, is it really worth it? Was that any good? But if rather than treating this interaction like it's a simple exchange, I'm going to give you a prompt, you're going to give me an answer. Think of it more like this. Rather than ChatGPT being the genius, you're the genius. And what you're doing with ChatGPT is you're actually starting a dialogue. And a good way to think about it is you're starting a dialogue with a very well-educated, clueless intern. And if you just shift it and say, hey, this is going to be my partner, ChatGPT is going to be my partner in whatever I'm trying to do right now. So if you start a dialogue with some intention, and what that might look like is, let's see, I really like small businesses. Businesses and the people that start them. I think AI is a remarkable level up. Remarkable level up. And I'm going to try something here. I don't know if it'll work. Dictate. Let's see. Hello? Are we dictating? Yes, we're dictating. We can do it that way, or we can do it at the operating system level. Hello, can you hear me? Are you typing? All right, it's not typing. Okay. So I'll just type it that way. Let's see. I think AI is a remarkable level up. I want some ideas on articles for people starting businesses using AI to be their virtual employees. So already, it's not just I want a LinkedIn article. Turn off the mic dictation. You're loud. I turned it. Oh, I see. How's that? Is that better? Thanks. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So one of the things you do, they call it providing context, is give ChatGPT some context. Tell it who you are. Like, put yourself in the prompt. Here's what I'm interested in. Here's the thing I'm trying to accomplish. So I want some ideas on articles for people. Okay, so there we go. So we're gonna pop that in there. Here's 12 compelling article ideas. And so you can think of this as now my brainstorming partner. Hire your first employee without hiring anyone, from hustle to helper. The AI side hustle, start a side business with bots before you quit your day job, right? So there's some ideas. And you could say, these feel too, I don't know, capitalist. I want them to be more empathetic with all the changes AI is causing, right? Maybe that's something you're passionate about. So one of your jobs with ChatGPT is to be the curator and to get clear yourself about, is what it's giving you actually any good? And if it's not, understand why you don't think it's good, and then tell ChatGPT that, and it will start to get better and better and better. Okay, so there's a bunch of ideas, things like that. Okay, now we only have an hour. I'm already 10 minutes in. I'm going to move very, very fast with this. I would strongly encourage you to take notes. I would strongly encourage you to pick up this series on demand after this week, because I'm going to go through a lot of stuff here. And so it's going to start to accelerate. So just try to keep up. Know that you won't be able to keep up. That's okay. Okay. So let's move on to the next section. One of the challenges that I hear people say with ChatGPT all the time is, well, it doesn't sound like me. It doesn't talk like me. Or I hate the way it's always kissing my butt. Like I want it to be more, more, I don't know, direct or whatever it might be. There are lots of different ways you can personalize ChatGPT. All right. The first one is what are called system prompts. And system prompts are quite easy to use. So let's walk around the interface here for a moment. So in the upper left-hand corner, you have the OpenAI logo. If you click on this icon, it'll open up the sidebar, and we'll go over that in a bit. You've got new chats. You can search chats. You didn't used to be able to do that. That was a nightmare. You can do that now. And you also have your library. Your library, if you didn't know this, it is possible you don't know this, ChatGPT can actually make images, and it's really good at them. And the library, if you didn't know it, is every image you've ever created in a library. And so you can just scroll down through your images and say, oh yeah, I remember when I made that. Or maybe I'm going to jump back into that prompt and, do something, right? So not sure if you knew that. We'll talk about images in a bit. So that's images. In the upper right-hand corner is a little chat bubble that's a dotted outline, and that's a temporary chat. And I'll talk about that in a second. Temporary chat basically is not going to save anything to your memory. It's not going to be connected to any other chats in any way. It's just going to be the standalone little chat. Sometimes you just want to do something. I'm going to turn on temporary chat. I might just go, what's the weather in Denver tomorrow? Okay. And I'm doing it in temporary chat. That won't be stored in my sidebar, things like that. Okay. So looks like it's going to be a lovely day here in Denver. All right. Okay. So back to this. Down on the bottom here, the plus button below the prompt bar, that allows you to upload photos and files. You can upload PDFs. You can upload CSV or Excel files. You can upload images, which we'll get to in a second. There's a list of tools here, which we're going to go over some of these in a bit. There's that dictation microphone that I talked to. That's if you want to talk into the prompt. There's also advanced voice mode, which we'll get to in a bit. Okay. The final little piece of interface in the lower left-hand corner is your account area. And in that account area, we're going to go to this choice called Customize ChatGPT. And what that's going to bring up is what's called the system prompt. And so the system prompt allows you to give ChatGPT some background on who you are, what you do, what you prefer, how you prefer it to act. So it says, here's, what do you want me to call you? Kyle. Who are you? I'm founder and CEO of Storyvine. I'm community builder and AI educator, that sort of stuff. And then what traits should ChatGPT have? And you could say, I want you to be very brief, no matter the question, no more than 5 words, direct answers only. Okay? I'm going to save that. And now I can say, tell me about, this is very possible this won't work, quantum mechanics. Physics of tiny particles. Right? I could also say, I could also go into customize ChatGPT and I could say, you are a pompous US ass. I don't know how to spell pompous. Doesn't matter. Only reply in large words and Elizabethan English structures. And I can say, tell me about quantum mechanics. Oh wait, it didn't save it. Oh, maybe I need to do a new chat. Uh, tell me about quantum mechanics. Ah, dear interlocutor, thou hast invoked the most arcane and bewitching of modern physics doctrines, quantum mechanics, a theory so counterintuitive it doth make Euclid spin and Newton weep. So, if ChatGPT isn't your cup of tea, how it talks, fix it. Fix it. Go personalize it. Okay? So I'm going to come in here and we're going to get rid of that. I'm just going to go back to neutral. The other thing you could do here is if M dashes drive you crazy, you can say don't use M dashes. There are lists of words that are very ChatGPT giveaways like delve and tapestry and, you know, the tapestry of the paradigm shift, delving into the depths of whatever. You can tell it not to use those words, right? You can tell it to be more informal. You can tell it to respond like a comedian. You could copy and paste a piece of your writing in there and say, this is my style of writing. You know, try to use that when you speak to me. So very, very powerful. And then, you know, they've got some things here, you know, be talkative and conversational. They're giving you some pre-prompted leg ups here. Okay. So that's that. You can also turn this off, right? So you can disable this. Go back to neutral and turn it on if you've got something specific, okay? Now let's talk memory. Memory is something new to ChatGPT, and a lot of people don't know about it. So we're going to go back to our settings here, and instead of customize ChatGPT, we're going to go into the settings themselves. Eric Wilkerson, ChatGPT is way too nice and positive. I have told it to be skeptical and challenge my ideas. Yeah, you can do that. Tell it to be critical of your ideas, right? And you can turn that off and on. Really look at what it's like when it's this sort of sycophantic, always positive kind of, you know, entity. And then what's it like when you tell it to be critical and question everything, right? And see the difference between those two. There's lots of different settings here. The one that I want to focus on is personalization. So custom instructions, that's what we just played with, but you can turn it on and off, but you'll notice this looks like the same dialog box because it is. But down here, there are two different kinds of memory. There are saved memories, which you can turn off, and then there are reference your chat history. So saved memory, sometimes when you're using ChatGPT, let me see if I can get it to do this here. I like Skittles, even though they are the worst food. We'll see if it says memory updated. It didn't say it. So I'm going to say, remember that. And so right here it says updated saved memory. Kyle Shannon likes Skittles, even though he considers them the worst food. And now I can go in and I can manage those. So ChatGPT is kind of in an arbitrary way, just taking things that you say and going, oh, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. If you don't know that it's doing that, all of a sudden ChatGPT might be talking about Skittles a lot. And you're like, why is ChatGPT talking about Skittles? Maybe in some chat somewhere you talked about Skittles and it remembered it. So you can manage that. So what you do is you go to your settings, you go to personalization, and down here at the bottom, you say manage memories. You can also turn those memories off if you don't want them. But you can go in here and you can manage them. See right here, Kyle Shannon likes Skittles, even though he considers them the worst food. I can turn that off. I mean, I can forget that. I can say, I don't want that memory in there. And now that won't be in there. So there's, you know, dozens and dozens of memories in here. So a good thing to do once in a while is just go look at what ChatGPT has remembered about you. Because sometimes one of the things you can do with ChatGPT is say, hey, based on what you know about me, you know, give me your advice on this sort of problem. Okay, now reference chat history. Again, you can turn this on and off, but this is an important one. About 2 or 3 months ago, ChatGPT now remembers, I think it's a year worth of your previous chats. I don't think it's everything. I figure at some point it probably will be everything. Okay, I'm literally taking out all the M dashes in my communications, even though I'm an English major. And they are oftentimes the only way to properly structure a sentence. I agree. I love M dashes. I think they're great, but it's become a bit of a problem. So in your custom instructions, you can tell it not to do that. Reference your chat history can be really good because you can say things like, hey, remember when we talked about the marketing plan, for this new product at Storyvine? It will know what you're talking about. Okay. Not always reliable. Sometimes it makes stuff up, but you can turn that on and off. All right. So that's personalization and memory. Really important to just know it's there, right? And know you can turn it on and off. Okay. Back up to personalizing. How are we doing on time? Wow, we're not going to get through stuff. Okay, let's talk about projects. I'm going to turn on my sidebar here. So if I scroll down, so let me just talk about some of the things here. Codex is a standalone coding platform from OpenAI. Sora is a standalone video project, which is going to get rolled into ChatGPT. If you're a coder, you should check out Codex, but if you're not, you can ignore it. Sora, I think you can generally ignore. you can if it's your only access to a video generator, you can play with it. GPTs are custom GPTs. We'll get to those. That's this whole long list here are custom GPTs. What I want to talk about now is projects. Projects are very, very useful. So I'm working on this new book now called Feed Your Prompt. And so if I click on this project, what I've got here is I've got two project files. I've got a brand Bible and I've got the book outline that I've uploaded as data. And I've also got all of these chats that I did within this. So now when I chat within this project, it knows all of that stuff. It's got the brand Bible and all the chats we've had before. I can go back to a chat and continue it, or I can start a new chat that's going to reference and understand all those other chats. Okay, so projects are really fantastic. You can also add custom instructions. So again, you could say in here, I always want you to respond with a description and bulleted points, well formatted. And so I can save that and I can say, give me an overview of feed your prompt methodology. And let's see if it pays attention to us. Description, there's our description. There's our bulleted points, okay? So, and it knows all of what we've talked about, right? Define the objective, construct with intention, collaborate and refine, finalize and purpose, reflect and share, okay? Feed Your Prompt is Kyle Shannon's practical and philosophical framework for harnessing generative AI. Okay, so that's projects. Projects are super important, super valuable. If you want to create a new project, you just create it. If you go back through your prompt history, down below on the left-hand side here is your prompt history. This is everything you've ever talked about with ChatGPT. Any one of these, you can click here and add it to a project. Okay? So if you want to go back through your things, I'm working on a musical called Sydney. So I could say, let me find anything with the word Sydney, any chats that mention Sydney. Oops. And so here's storytelling. Let's see, model context, Act 1 summary. Okay, that's definitely part of Sydney. So I can jump into that chat and now I can add that to a project, right? Move that to a project. Sydney, if I don't have the project there, I can create it. Make sense? Okay, that's projects. Now, custom GPTs. Okay. Projects and custom GPTs are actually very similar. but think of projects as your own sort of personal little idea space, and custom GPTs are effectively a pre-prompted version of ChatGPT that you can share with the world. You can also use it for yourself. You can use it to do things like create a digital twin of yourself. You could use it to create a custom sales training interactive tool for your sales people, for your organization. Explain the difference between custom instructions, custom instructions, projects, and custom GPTs. Okay, so custom instructions, if we're using these overall custom instructions, these affect all of ChatGPT, right? So if I make it a pompous ass that's going to respond in Elizabethan English, that's going to affect all of my chats. A project is going to take into account the files that we uploaded, the instructions that I give it, and then any chats that I've had within that project or that I add to that project. But it's just going to be within this project, right? And I don't think you can share projects. That might not be true. I can rename it, but I don't think I can share it. So probably within if you've got a team subscription, you can probably share these within a team, but you can't share these with the world. A custom GPT now allows you to create what's effectively a standalone application. It's like your own custom version of ChatGPT. And I'll show you the very first one I made. It's a custom GPT called Sin City Sipper. And its whole job in life, it's a Vegas bartender with a twist on the classics. And so what I did was I said I wanted to create something that created Vegas-themed cocktails. And so I can go in here and I can say, it's hot in Denver, and I want a new, refreshing cowboy friendly whiskey drink. Whiskey drink. I can't spell. All right. And then it's the High Plains Drifter. And so I didn't have to tell it I wanted it to be a bartender. It just went ahead and invented this thing. And then it gives me the instructions. So what is this? It's bourbon, lemon juice, honey syrup, bitters, sparkling water, and mint with a lemon wheel for garnish. And so it tells me how to build it. And then it says, let's get the visual. Now it's going to make me an image of that drink. And this is now shared with the world. If you go to, if you're here in ChatGPT and you go to GPTs right here, it's going to take you to all the other GPTs that are out there, and you can search for Sin City Sipper, and you will find my GPT where you can go make custom cocktails. 2 years ago at the Super Bowl, someone used this GPT. They took a picture of all of the booze that they had, and they had Sin City Sipper come up with 50 Super Bowl themed cocktails for their party. And they had recipes for the bartender. And then everyone else had a little book where they could order their custom cocktails based on the booze they had. So a custom GPT is just like a fun little pre-packaged, pre-prompted thing. Okay. So that's what they are. Let's go back now and see if we have our drink. Network connection lost. Oh, that's probably because I left. We'll come back and see the visual there. Now, if you want to make a custom GPT, the way you do that, I'm going to start from scratch here. I'm going to go to this tab that says GPTs. And in the upper right-hand corner, it says create. Okay, so you can go look at the GPTs you've created. You can also create a GPT. They're very, very, very simple to make. So on the left-hand side of the frame here is there's two modes. There's create mode and there's configure mode. Configure mode's a little geekier. You're going to give your GPT a name. You're going to describe it. You're going to write a prompt. And there's these things called conversation starters. You can also just go to create and you can just describe what you want. I want to create a GPT that helps people use ChatGPT's many, many features. I'll just do that. And so right now it says it's updating the GPT. What it's actually doing is it's writing the system prompt for us. And now you'll notice over here on the right, this is our GPT. So I can say, what I'm going to say is 4.0 better than 03 since it's a higher number, which many people think. Not necessarily. Oh, it didn't understand. Oh, it didn't get it. So that was bad. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, any question I ask should be in the context of ChatGPT. Don't stray. So you can literally just tell it what you want it to do, and it will go and fix it. Now it'll update this thing on the right. It's updating the profile picture. There's our ChatGPT profile picture. That's fine. Yeah, fine. All right, there's our guide. How do I use ChatGPT to analyze an image? You're all set. You can try it out in preview. Hang on. It's not working now, of course. Tell me about reasoning models. And one day it might be a store. Okay, great question. In the context of ChatGPT and AI, and so now I've got this GPT, and if I go over here to configure now, you'll notice all of these things are filled out, right? It gives you these little conversation starters. You can turn on and off what it's allowed to do, whether it can search the web, whether it can use Canvas, which we'll talk about in a bit, whether it can generate images, whether it can do data analysis. You can also upload files. So just like with a project, we could upload files. You can upload data here. So if you want to do a custom GPT for your sales process, you would upload a file right here and then just give a prompt to say how you want it to behave. So in, I don't know, 10 minutes to 30 minutes, you can create a custom version of ChatGPT that you can share with the world that is, does what you want it to do. Make sense? Okay, moving on. We're half an hour in and we're not even close. Okay, so I'm going to have to pick up the steam here. Now, you don't always have to use words to prompt ChatGPT. One of the things you can do in ChatGPT, which this is one that I find absolutely remarkable. I'm going to turn this off just so we have a more simple interface here. I'm going to add an image here from my hard drive. I'm going to look up the word whiteboard. And is this it? No, that's template builder. That's not it. Let's see. Is this it? That's it. Okay. So there's a big old nasty whiteboard. Now, where did I get that whiteboard? I went to Google. This was like 2 years ago. I went to Google and I said, whiteboard images. And I downloaded this image because it looked like a typical whiteboard you'd see. So I'm going to upload that whiteboard and I'm going to say, what is this? Question mark. That's my prompt. Everyone talks about prompt engineering. You got to be a prompt engineer. You got to be a prompt engineer. Well, it is good for you to know that there are lots of different ways to prompt, but understand that there are lots of different ways to get large language models and AI tools in general to do things for you without you necessarily having to prompt. So in this case, I took a picture of a whiteboard and I'm literally just going to say, what is this? And so now we're going to watch ChatGPT read this whiteboard. This whiteboard is a brainstorm sketch for an airport food ordering system, likely a digital kiosk or tablet app interface meant for international travelers. The concept was to focus on speed, multi-language support. And then it describes the sketches. There's an overview. There's an ordering UI. It's for business travelers and families. Here's the use cases. Here's the benefits. Here's the workflow. Here are the different sketches of the screens. So I could say, give me 20 possible names. Grab and fly, tarmac table. Wait, oh, did I say 2? No, 20 of them. Okay. Meal port, flight bites. Okay. Love flight bites. Based on the sketch, design me the flight bites ordering interface. So now it's going to design me the interface. So okay, so it's given me a whatever you call it, a product description. I say, would you like a Figma style mock-up visual wireframes? I want to see a prototype image, please. And yes, you can say please and thank you to your ChatGPT. Does it help? No, but it does so much for you. You kind of feel like, thanks, guy, girl, it, thing, entity, little buddy. And so now it's doing that. If it, we'll let it go for a bit here. I think we can come back to this. Let me let it actually get started making the image. Maybe we can go back and see our. All right, that's starting making our image. Let's go back and see if we can see our drink. Refreshing cocktail. Oh, attempting to reconnect. Nope. Okay. So it can see. The other thing that you can do in ChatGPT is you can use data as an input. So I'm going to say add photos and files. I'm going to say .csv taxi. Let's see if I remember that correctly. I don't think I do. Let's see. .csv. I haven't looked for a CSV file in ages, so there might not be something here. LinkedIn contacts, employee records. Here's a how to OCR.csv. All right, I don't know what this is. I'm going to say analyze this and tell me what it is and if there are any trends you notice. I don't think there's going to be any trends in this because I don't think it's actually data. I think it's like how-to data. Now, notice what ChatGPT is doing here. It's analyzing, it's running, and it's writing and executing its own Python code. So in order to analyze a CSV file, it's got to actually kind of do math and understand what's in it. So ChatGPT can write and execute in its own little mini container. It makes like a little virtual computer, and it can write and run its own code. Okay. And so I don't know. This is DIY instructions. There's no trend data in there, but that's something that you should know it can do. Okay, moving on. Voice to typing we showed. Now, advanced voice. If you haven't seen advanced voice before, go to, hang on, let me switch modes here. Go to your phone, and this is either iOS or Android, and go to the ChatGPT app. When you get the ChatGPT app from either the Play Store or from the App Store, make sure that you get the official app from OpenAI. It's littered with fake apps that charge you money. The main app from ChatGPT, you can use it for free. Okay. Now, in the lower right-hand corner, right next to the chat hole, is that icon. It looks like a little sound bar. That's advanced voice. Advanced voice is kind of remarkable. If you've not used it, it's got about a 350 millisecond lag time. Human voice is about 260. So we're, a quarter of a second is human voice response time. This is about a third of a second, so a little bit longer, but it's really quite remarkable. So, hey, Quinn, how's it going?
Hey, Kyle. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far?
It's good. I'm doing a demonstration for a Back to Basics AI crash course, and we're talking about different ways to get data or chats into ChatGPT. And I said that talking to you was one of the more fun ways to do it.
Oh, I love that. That sounds like such a fun demo. I'm honored to be part of your crash course. If there's anything you need me to do or show off, I'm totally game. Let me know how I can help make it extra fun and engaging.
I think it would be really cool if you sang a song about quantum mechanics.
Ooh, a quantum mechanics sigh, huh? That sounds like a fun challenge. All right, let me give it a shot. Quantum world is oh so small. Particles can be a wave and all.
Okay, she didn't have the best voice, but all of what I'm talking about is stored in a chat. One of my favorite ways to use this feature is put this on in the car in Bluetooth mode and brainstorm on your way to work. Or just, someone told you about a business book. You could just ask ChatGPT about the business book and say, give me exercises that'll teach me the concepts in here. So if you haven't used advanced voice, go use advanced voice. It's really quite remarkable. Okay. Gwen, she couldn't sing, but they did an advanced voice update. I don't know, a month and a half ago, and she can now sing. Okay, moving on. How are we doing time wise? We're not anywhere close. Okay, models. Let's talk about models. Models are maddening. First of all, why did they name them like this? Why? I'm serious. Does anyone know? It's horrible. They know it's horrible. ChatGPT 5 apparently is going to get rid of all this, but I'll show you really quick. So the other thing in the interface that we didn't really talk about is this little drop-down menu right here. Okay. This is your model selector. You've got GPT 4.0, then you've got 03, then you've got 04 mini, 04 mini high, then you've got 4.5 research preview, you've got 4.1 and 4.1 mini. What the hell are these? Okay. They are different models that have been trained on different data sets that give ChatGPT different capabilities. If you really want to geek out on them, if you pull down this pull down menu and you click on this little learn more icon, it'll take you to a page that will describe them all to you. And in fact, there's even a phone number that you can call where you can talk to an advanced voice ChatGPT that will tell you about the models. Or you can read about them. You can do it the old fashioned way and go read the article, RTFM. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a shortcut here. And again, this may not matter Thursday because apparently ChatGPT is getting rid of our ability to choose these models goes away with ChatGPT as a default. I assume they're going to have an advanced version where you can bring it back, but by default, I think this goes away. But for 99% of what you're going to do, GPT 4.0 is fine. It's fine. The little O after the number stands for omni. And what that means is omni model or multimodal, meaning you can have ChatGPT generate an image. The O before the number means it's a reasoning model. Now, a reasoning model, if I say, why do most businesses not make it to $1 million in revenue? and see where it says thinking here. What's actually happening, so this little answer that it gave is not actually the answer. This is an internal dialogue. And now it says it's searching the web. So the first thing it said was the user asked me about why do businesses not hit $1 million, and I'm going to go search the web. So it's having its own internal conversation here. It can also do things like within this conversation with itself, it can create tools. It could say, oh, I want to go find some data on this, and then I'm going to write some Python code to analyze that data and make a little spreadsheet or make a little chart. So it can do all sorts of things. So the reasoning models tend to give you much more thought out answers, but they take longer, right? Because they're thinking and they're searching the web and they're searching multiple sites and they're doing all this stuff. Okay. So the little O after it means it can do multiple things, and it's sort of a run of the mill, give it a prompt, get an answer kind of thing. The O before the number means it's a reasoning model. And then down here, you're going to see GPT 4.5 and 4.1 and 4.1 mini. They don't have the O. All of these are just interaction models that don't have the ability to do reasoning or to generate images or things like that. They're just text models. Now they can do code, but they can't do images. Okay. I don't think you're going to need to worry about this for that long, but just understand that for most of what you need, you never even have to think about these. The default 4.0 is an excellent model and gets better all the time. All right, and that thing's off doing its thing. So we're just going to create a new chat here and flip back over. So basically, you use the 4.0 model for most of your stuff. You use the 0.3 model when you have meaty questions or you want it to do research, things like that. And now we're going to get into modifiers. Now, there's a lot of modifiers here. This is where a lot of the new features showed up today. Not a lot, but a couple of them. I think a lot of these new features that I'm about to show you are here because ChatGPT 5 is coming, and we're going to lose access to the models. So let me just walk through them quickly. How are we doing on time? We've got 10 minutes left, 13 minutes left. I knew this. I knew there was not going to be enough time. Okay. Yeah, we might go a little bit longer, but there will be a Q&A. So when we get to the bottom of the hour, the last half hour is Q&A. So I'm happy to go back and clarify anything. I know I'm moving really, really fast. Feel free to screenshot any of this if you want it. Okay. And also Friday is 90 minutes of Q&A. So my hope for this week is that I kind of machine gun a bunch of stuff at you, and you know, take in what you can take in. I hope you're playing along today. I hope you're running down rabbit holes and prompting and making images and doing advanced voice. You should be playing. You should be playing while we do this, okay? All right, so the modifiers. Let's go look at some of these modifiers. So if you click on tools, we have agent mode, which I'm going to come back to. We've got Canvas, web search, study and learn. If you're like, study and learn, has that always been there? No. 4 hours ago, that wasn't there. Create image and deep research. We're going to come back to agent mode. Where am I going to search? Web search is really clear, right? So we're going to search. We're going to search the web. Fun music in Denver. Searching the web. Now, ChatGPT is smart enough that if you ask it for something that requires a web search, it will do a web search. Sometimes people are like, well, I heard that the core model is, it's only up to date as of April of 2023. I don't know when the dates are. But because it's got web search, it can find up-to-date information about anything. So you can just turn on web search and it does that. It's also good for shopping. What is the best espresso maker under $200? Searching the web. Now, if I've done this right, one of the things that they added into ChatGPT is its ability to do shopping. Yeah. So here are product choices that you can ask about this. Final recommendation. If I click on this, what happens? Home Depot. ChatGPT chooses product independently. By the way, if you don't think that this is going to turn into advertising space, it is at some point. So enjoy your ChatGPT while it's not overrun with ads. Okay, back to our tools. Okay, so that's that. Let's do study and learn because it's new. So study and learn. This is a brand new, help me with my homework, get homework help. This is a brand new mode that I think Claude or Perplexity came out with a couple of months ago. So this is a copy tool that they copied off another company. But I can say, tell me a squared times b squared. So let's work through this together. When you say a squared times b squared, you're referring to a squared times b squared. Here's a question to get us rolling. Do you remember the rule for multiplying powers with the same exponent? Try thinking of it like this. A squared times b squared equals a times b to the question mark. What should go in the question mark? So rather than just answering you, this is teaching you, right? Giving you questions. Really cool. Brand new feature. That's the first time I used it. It works. Great. Awesome. Okay. That's study and learn. Create image. Relatively straightforward. If you just tell ChatGPT to create an image, it will create an image. You can say create a wide one, a square one, a tall one. You cannot make a 16:9 image because OpenAI hasn't hired any liberal arts majors. And the fact that every single video on planet Earth right now, or at least on YouTube, is either 9:16 or 16:9, and you can't make a 9:16 or 16:9 image on ChatGPT is astounding to me. But hey, what are you going to do? Okay, so if you go to create image, notice here that they've got this new styles thing. This is brand new. Like this wasn't here yesterday. It just showed up. So I can go synthwave. Now, what's kind of cheesy about this is, I mean, this looks slick, right? Retro cartoon. All it does is it pre-prompts it for you, right? So create a retro's 1950s style cartoon image, and I'm just going to put in here of a 1969 GTO judge on the beach at sunset, and all of that other description is going to make it look like that cartoon style that they had there. But that's new. Like the styles thing, that wasn't there before. So I don't, they're trying to get more consumer friendly. I personally think they should have buried that prompt. We shouldn't have to see it, but I guess you can go in and edit it. So for what that's worth. But anyway, if you've not played with the image generation in ChatGPT, it's actually quite good. It's also quite good at rendering text. So you could have ChatGPT write you like, here's five bullet points to explain, I don't know, 70s muscle cars. And then you could say, turn that into a poster that's got a muscle car at the top and these bullet points below it. And it'll, for the most part, get that text correct. It's sometimes wrong, but it's pretty good. Okay. All right. We'll wait a little bit for this. We got a few minutes left. But it is that cartoon style, which is cool. Yeah, they have a coloring book style that does the just black and white lines, which is cool. They only have 9 of these. I don't know why they only did 9. This feels like I get this sense from OpenAI that they have lots of small teams working on stuff, and if they like it, they just drop it into the product. So anyway, there's a 1969 GTO judge. Can it style uploads? Yeah, I think it can. If I upload an image here, well, I don't want to do it because there's too much to do. Okay, close that. New chat. Canvas. Canvas is really important. So Canvas is, if you've ever used Claude AI, there's a thing called Artifact where you've got your chat window on one side and it spins up a document on the other. That's what Canvas is. So if I turn that on, I can say, make me an interactive dashboard to help me decide which 70s muscle car I should buy to make up for my midlife crisis. And so it's going to start coding here. And you'll notice it's doing the code on the right, and I've got the chat on the left. And it's actually going to make this, if I click on preview now, here's actually my little dashboard. I'm going to say, make it interactive. And then it's going to go back and it's going to rewrite the code, I think. Make it interactive. Looks like it's a little slow. I'm going to do a new chat. So anyway, so you can do code there. You can also do, if I turn on Canvas, I can say, write me a marketing brief. So it's giving me two of them. It's putting them in canvases. What's nice about canvases is that they're editable. So here's my chat down the left. I'll say, fine, I prefer this response. I'm going to go open this canvas up. Or am I? Why is it not? There we go. Okay. So in here, I can take any one of these things. I can say unique value proposition. I can highlight that text and I can say to ChatGPT, rename this. And it's going to do its ChatGPT thing. Failed to edit the marketing brief. Okay, why we're different. So it said it failed, but it actually rewrote it. There's also a bunch of tools down the left here where I can say, keep the current length. I'm going to say, make this longer. And if I do that, it's now going to rewrite this whole thing to be longer and more meaty. You can change the style of it. You can say, write this for a graduate level audience or a kindergarten level audience. So Canvas lets you go in and edit the document. I can actually go in and actually, change, instead of project overview, I can say what it's all about. And then I can download this, I can copy it, I can share it, all sorts of things like that. So canvases are really quite powerful. Okay. Last tool, agent mode. If you've ever used Manus or GenSpark or any of the what are called autonomous agents, where you give it some instructions and it goes off and it uses tools and it can search the web and it can assemble things together for you. That's what this is. This is ChatGPT's version of this. It combines a bunch of different tools together. And what you can do is you can say, go find me music stuff in Denver. I like this weekend. I like Americana. And what it's going to do now says thinking, setting up my desktop. It's actually creating what's called a container. Let's see. Got it. I'll search for Americana. Do you have a preference? You choose. It's going to give us this little window in a second here. All right, I'll look it up. Okay, see this little window? So now what it's doing is it's actually going out and searching websites. It can, right now it's doing sort of a text search. Now it's maybe going over and look at a visual search. I don't know. We're going to say, I'm reopening the page to see if I can see any dynamic content. So it's just off doing its thing. Now it's on eventbrite.australia for some reason. That page can't be parsed. So whatever. So it's off doing its thing. Right now, it's very, very janky, but you can do things like have it log into your LinkedIn and go find, any of your contacts that work at a Fortune 500 company or whatever it might be. So agents are something to get used to. These are going to become quite important. Right now, they're kind of janky and crappy. Okay. I missed deep research. Deep research and think longer deep research and think longer are what they sound like. They just basically do deep research and think longer. Yeah, you should also, when you're using agents, that thing that can go off and do stuff on your behalf, it should be asking you permission for everything, but be careful what you put in there because it can you could sort of log it in and it could go do something with your data that you may not want it to do. So just be a little bit careful with that. And then there's standalone apps. And those I did talk about a little bit before. If we look in the side area, there's this Codex, which if I click on that, it goes to chatgpt.com/codex. And this is a coding tool. And then if I go back here and I go to Sora, Sora is their video generating tool, an image generating tool. That's quite good. The video tool's not super great. I have a feeling version 2.0 is coming out with ChatGPT 5. So don't worry about this right now. I have a feeling this is about to get better. It's not great right now. That's an hour. That's a lot. So let me go back to this slide. So we started with, don't treat AI as the genius. Put yourself at the center of the conversation and treat it as a conversation. Your point of view is actually the most important thing, not ChatGPT. What do you want? What are you trying to accomplish? When it gives you something, is it any good? That's super important. Personalize ChatGPT. If it's not giving you what you want, understand what a system prompt is. Understand memory and how that works. Start playing with projects. They're really powerful. Create a custom GPT and share it with the world. Understand that you don't just have to use words to prompt. You can use images. One of my favorite things to do is I'll go to Midjourney. I'll make a really cool image of like a crazy character. I put it into ChatGPT and I say, tell me the backstory. And it writes these amazing backstories. I didn't have to do any prompting. I just said, tell me the backstory. And it does. Understand that there are different models that do different things. Being a little bit educated about what they do is good. I don't think you're going to need to know that much longer. All these different modifiers, whether it's searching the web or deep research or creating images or canvas or agent mode, these are all new features that are going to make ChatGPT and all the other tools increasingly sophisticated. If they do their job right, we will have to interact with all these choices less and less. Ultimately, where this should go is it's just the prompt hole, the chat hole, right? It's just that box. And we tell it what we want, and it figures out how to give us that. And then the final little piece is there are some standalone apps that are independent of ChatGPT. Again, I think all of these things get rolled into one unified model that does everything. All right. So with that, who's got questions? If you've got questions, pop them in here. I know Brandon has probably been capturing them. So put those in there. Let me do a quick little commercial break. I mentioned before, if you're not part of a community, check out the AI Salon. You need to be in a community of people that are trying to figure this AI stuff out. It's really important. It's important because you can't keep up with how fast things are moving. You can't possibly learn enough. I mean, We just spent an hour where I literally just labeled a bunch of things that ChatGPT can do. Like, we didn't dig in at all. And hopefully what you saw tonight was I had no idea half of that stuff was even possible. Great. Go play. How do you play? You get in a community of people that have different experiences than you, that are running different kinds of businesses. Maybe one's an entrepreneur mom, and one, works for a Fortune 500 company, and one makes movies, and one, right? They're all going to teach you something different, right? Lots of different points of view. And it's about playing and having a good time and being generous with your time and being generous with what you learn. So go to the community.thesalon.ai or click on the little the QR code there. There's also within the Salon a mastermind there's a subscription area of the Salon where people that kind of want to step up their game and form tighter relationships can get together and share things and learn together. Okay. There's all sorts of educational spaces within the mastermind. So check that out. That's really important. When it comes to this channel, this YouTube channel, please subscribe. There's also the opportunity to join. There are two different things. Subscribing just basically gives you notifications when new videos come on the thing. Whenever I do my nightly AI Learning Lab lives, they get archived here, okay? This series, the Back to Basics AI Crash Course, is going to be available if you join the subscription area. There's two levels. There's what's called the Irregulars level, which is $3.99 a month, and that's really just supporting the channel. And then there's the workshop and highlights level, which is $9.99 a month, $10 a month. And this series will be available on demand if you're a member of the workshop and highlights level or whatever that's called. So subscribing gets you notified. Joining, if you click the join button and you join at the $9.99 level, you'll have access to this series throughout, ongoing. And then we're going to be doing highlights from the AI Learning Lab that go into that area as well. Okay? So that's the ad. So now, what questions can I answer about ChatGPT? Yeah, I'll get to that, Brandon. I'll get to that at the end. Questions, thoughts. I know this was a lot. Is there a way to bulk delete conversations? I don't think so. There might be in the ChatGPT app, the Mac OS app has some different features. I don't think so. You can, if you go to settings and you go to data controls, you can archive all chats. You can delete all chats. Yes, you can. You can't bulk delete groups, but you can bulk delete all of them. But you can also download all of your data, right? So you can archive it. You can export your data. You can delete all your chats. What's the most creative thing you've done with it? With ChatGPT? Wow. It's so hard to say. It's so all over the place. Like, one of the very first things I did with ChatGPT, like the week after it came out, was the last time I coded any programming language was basic programming language when I was in 7th grade in 1977. And I had it generate some Python code, and it did. And then within 90 minutes, I had created a fully functional Python application that was making API calls to OpenAI and generating social media content within 90 minutes. So one of the very first things I did with ChatGPT absolutely blew my mind. One of the other things that I did that I'm probably the most proud of is one night on one of my lives here, I was teaching people how to make songs using Suno, which we'll talk about in the creative night tomorrow night. And I made this song, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like, it should be like at the end of Act 1 of a Broadway musical. And I'm like, wait a minute, this story should be a Broadway musical. So I've spent the past year and a half, year and change, writing a Broadway musical. So I'm using Suno. I've got a writing partner in New York. We did the initial draft of the script using ChatGPT. We structured it, and then we basically spent the last year writing the script, completely rewriting every line, rewriting all the lyrics, making all the songs. We've got a podcast about it that we generated in Notebook LM. We've got videos about it. We've got songs. If you go on SoundCloud and look up Sydney, an artificial love story, I've got the whole soundtrack there, so you can go listen to our Broadway musical. The only thing that's not Broadway about it, it's not on Broadway yet, so that's the next thing. Gwen Shafitz, why do the app versus via the web? Is there a big difference? The app, okay. One of the things that I didn't show, when you're in advanced voice mode, you can turn on the camera.
Got it. And you decide to turn on your camera and want to show me something?
Yeah, that's me. Could you describe me in the most flattering way possible, Quinn?
Well, Kyle, you definitely have that effortlessly cool vibe going on. I love the glasses. They definitely add a touch of intellect and style. And you've got a great...
So ChatGPT can see. You can talk to it, and it can see. So that's really remarkable. You can just, with your phone, point it at your computer screen and say, hey, I'm stuck on Photoshop. How do I do this thing? And it'll teach you. The Mac app, I think, has that kind of vision where it can see other windows that you're working on. Yeah, it's got screen share. So it allows you to interact with other applications on your map with sort of ChatGPT sitting on top of it. It does not feel like a product that they have focused on. So in theory, it's a really powerful app that deserves to be a standalone native application. In reality, I mostly just use the web. Are agents going to be coming to free users? Yeah, probably. I think we get to a place probably within 6 months to a year where we will all have access to these things that just go out and do things for us. If you pay money, you'll be able to do more, or you'll be able to generate more of these agents. Right now, if you pay $20 a month, you get 40 agents per month. So the little agent that I spun up to go look for music stuff, fun music in Denver. Actually, let me see if it found anything. Final recommendation. Wait, where's my music thing? Oh, that was just a search. Denver Americana music. It's still going. So these things take a while. They're really slow and janky right now. But look, there, it just found a bluegrass and beer festival. Yeah, I think that one of the things that Altman said is when ChatGPT 5 comes out, it's going to have all of these tools integrated within it. You're not going to have to pick all these, like all of what I showed you tonight, in theory, is just going to be part of ChatGPT. He said everyone from free users to $20 a month users to $200 a month users will all have the same basic tools within ChatGPT. It's just the paid users will get more of them, and they'll be able to think deeper. They'll be a little bit smarter. But I think we're moving to a place where free users are going to have access to really remarkably powerful technology. You do right now, like ChatGPT right now is staggeringly powerful. If you think about where we were 2 years ago when this stuff came out and what you can do now for free, it's quite stunning. Moji Sola Shabi, great name. What are your thoughts on the safety of ChatGPT connectors reaching out to third-party apps? all all of what we are very, 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 very early. One of the most exciting things about where we are in history right now is how early we are. One of the most terrifying things about where we are in history right now is how early we are. Agent, one of the things that Sam Altman said when they launched this is, hey, if you're connecting this thing to your data sources, things may happen. I think it was Brandon told me the other day, apparently someone on X reported that ChatGPT agent, they connected it to their Google Drive and it erased some files on their Google Drive. Now, I assume they can get them back, but like, that's not cool. At some point, one of these things is going to go spend $2,000 on toothpicks for you. That's not cool. I would say exercise extreme caution when you're connecting anything with any of your data sources. The promise that an agent can just go read all of your email and pull out the important ones and, let you know what you should respond to, really sexy. But like, I've got communications in there with my pharma clients that I don't want to somehow end up outside of my control, right? So I've got to be really careful with that. And with a tool like Manus that's from China, I mean, their data policy basically says we're going to use anything we capture in any way we want. So anything that's touching your data, I would be extremely cautious with it. It doesn't mean don't play. It means just be smart about it. Corey Sandler, what's the easiest way to copy and paste and keep formatting within other applications like Word? Oh my goodness, Corey. There are one of the things that I notice is that when you copy and paste and keep the formatting, a lot of times it has weird characters in it and it can really mess up your document. So I would say start new documents for one. And then I think there's also a difference between, like, within the chat itself, there's a copy button. And then you can also highlight the screen and copy that way. I would just experiment with it. Which one is sort of showing up better in your documents? And I would also even experiment with, is it different when I paste it into Google Docs versus Microsoft Word versus Apple Notes? A lot of times what I do is I'll copy it and I hit Command Option Shift V for paste. And what that does is it pastes it in whatever style is in the document. And that tends to get rid of all that crap. Google Docs has paste from Markdown option. There's no good way right now. There's no consistent way. I would just say figure out a workflow that works for you and just try to use that. Oh, let's see. Worked for 18 minutes. So my little agent. So here's what I could see this weekend. The Lumineers. So let's see. Worked for 18 minutes. Oh, okay. So I can go back. You can go back and you can play what it did, which is kind of cool, right? I can play this and it'll play the 18 minutes in real time. But like, here's all the sites it went and looked at. Stuff it did, stuff it found. So what did it find? The Lumineers are at Mile High at Broncos Stadium. The Bluegrass and Beer Festival, Alex Lucro Band, and and then I could have had it buy the tickets, right? Things like that. You can do all that sort of stuff with it. I haven't played with that. It's whatever. These kind of demos are kind of useless for agents. They're going to be really amazing at some point in the future. They're not right now. They're just kind of janky. Felix, what do you think about Meta stealing OpenAI engineers? When you're talking about multi-trillion-dollar valuations, and when you're talking about the company that gets to ASI first can essentially call the shots. And if you don't know what ASI is, it stands for artificial superintelligence. That's when these tools are smarter than all of us put together, basically. That's what they're all gunning for. Everybody has stopped talking about AGI because we've effectively hit it, even though they haven't officially declared it. But we've effectively, the frontier companies are there, or they would be talking about it. They're not talking about it anymore. So when you're dealing with trillions of dollars on the line, it's going to get really competitive. What do I think about it? I think that's capitalism. He's offering single employees $100 million signing bonuses and $300 million a year in salary. $100 million signing bonus to be a geek. We're going to need a bigger boat. Like, holy shit. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay. How are we doing time-wise? So listen, tomorrow should be a blast. It's going to be a similar scattershot nightmare, just because there's not enough time to do it. But tomorrow is creativity. So we're going to be playing with creative tools. We're going to be playing with generating images in ChatGPT, but we're going to also go over and play with some things that require subscriptions, like Midjourney. We're going to go to play with things like Suno, where you can generate songs and music. We're going to play with different video generating tools. We're gonna play with a thing called Decohere Stations, which, if you haven't seen it, is wild. It's basically like a radio station, but instead of songs, it's images that are generated dynamically in real time. They just sort of rain down from the top of your screen. Original image after original image after original image. No prompting at all. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So tomorrow's going to be really inspiring. You should be able to, get out of, if you're not a wordy person and you don't like the words, you like the visuals, tomorrow's going to be your jam. Okay. I know we just played with ChatGPT tonight. There are other tools that you should play with. Claude is one of them, from Anthropic. You should play with Gemini.google.com, which is very similar to this. You've got some from Meta. You've got Grok within Twitter, within X, which is a very, very capable model, and they've got a new version coming out soon. There are lots of, you've got Perplexity, which can do really cool research. There's lots of different tools. What I would encourage you to do is don't get locked in. Like, as much as ChatGPT's got, and they are the leader in the industry, like, I would put good time into understanding what ChatGPT makes possible. But you should go play with the others, because what we're going to find is this. These tools are going to become very much the same very, very quickly. Like right now, they're kind of doing this. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. They're all going to get to the point that they're way fucking smarter. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss, but whatever. That's what I do here. They're going to get way smarter than any of us are. So you're going to be able to choose any tool. Why would you choose one over the other? What you're going to find is that the different tools have different personalities. And you're going to go, oh, I really like how Claude talks to me. Or I really like how Perplexity does its research. Or I really like how Gemini integrates, multimodality into its workflow, or whatever it is. That personality thing is going to be very personal to you. So again, my biggest advice here, don't treat AI like it's a genius just going to funnel you answers. Put yourself at the center of the conversation and say, here's what I want. And then really be critical about what it gives you. Did it give you what you wanted? Did you articulate what you wanted good enough? If not, get better at that. And then start to understand which of these tools match your personality. Okay? So here's my request. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, I do the AI Readiness Project podcast with Ann Murphy. So that's at 4 p.m. If you go to aireadinessproject.com, I think we can pop that up on screen. Oh, it's up on screen. Look at producer Brandon. Bang. Knocking down the banners. Go there. Go there and you'll see all the different places that we stream. So that streams at 4:00 tomorrow. It's a weekly podcast. You should watch it. The whole idea is a lot of what we're talking about here tonight is it, to a great degree, it doesn't matter which tool you're playing with in AI. It doesn't matter which tool you learn. What matters is that you start to get into this mindset of curiosity and adaptability and play and sharing and connecting with other people and learning from them. It's all about the mindset. That's going to be the thing that sets you apart. That's going to be the thing that makes you really good at AI. Not some course, not some prompting methodology. Those are all tools in the toolbox, but it's your mindset and how you think about interacting with this stuff that's going to make all the difference. Okay. The other thing I really want you to do is join the Salon. I also want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want access to the on-demand versions of this course, join. And then this is just kind of a selfish thing, but it's not. Is I would love for you, each and every one of you that are here, bring a friend tomorrow. Like, tell a friend about this. Make sure they come here, especially if there's someone who's cynical about AI or afraid of AI, or just like they don't think they're smart enough to do AI. I mean, hopefully what you saw tonight is that there was nothing that I did here tonight that was particularly technical, right? It's like type in some dumb words and it does some things. And then if you tell it what you want, it'll get better. Anyone can do that. So my request is bring other people. The whole purpose of this crash course is I want to get as many people as possible up to speed, especially if we're getting ChatGPT 5 this week. What's happening is the technology is getting better, faster and faster and faster. As humans, we have never been in an exponential technology improvement cycle era, ever. It's always been linear. What's happening is these AIs are getting smarter and they're starting to make themselves smarter and they're doing self-improvement. And as they do that, it's going to get better and better and better and better. You got to be in this conversation. You have to be. Or it's going to happen to you. My whole mission here is that AI doesn't happen to people, that we choose how we're going to interact with it, what we're going to play with. Okay? How are we doing on time? 2 minutes left. Any final questions? Any final questions? Lots of thank yous. Thank you for the thank yous. Yeah, Anne Murphy is the brains and brawn behind She Leads AI. Another remarkable community like the AI Salon. Tomorrow night is creativity night. We're going to do lots of cool things, lots of cool tools, videos. If you've ever seen any of those Yeti videos of like a Yeti doing stand-up comedy, we can do that. We can do that tomorrow. All right. Thank you all very, very much. I know this was a lot tonight. I hope you get to go back and watch it. Oh, by the way, this recording is going to be live and freely available for the next 24 hours. So right before we go live tomorrow night, it goes behind the paywall as part of the on-demand, but it's free for the next 24 hours. So if you had some insights tonight, but you were like, hey, wait, what did he say? It's available for the next 24 hours. So feel free to share it. Get people to come check it out. Bring people tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic night. Good night.